Good morning. The Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privilege of the floor will retire to the gallery. The senators and all in attendance will please stand. We will be led in prayer by the Reverend Kayla Parker of the Unitarian Universalist Community Church of Glen Allen. And following the prayer, everyone will please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by our Senate page, Colby Stewart of Blacksburg.
Thank you for having me. I invite you to join me in prayer and meditation. God of many names and of no name at all, ground of our being, divine one who connects us, I ask that you continue to bless this space and these people. God, you know that they are at the end of a long week with a weekend ahead, and God, I ask that you give them moments of pause and rest amidst this busyness and bless their rest that is soon to come. God, may you also help remind them of their clarity of call and purpose, of the people who have brought them to this place, those they represent, and their ancestors that brought them here and now. God, may you help to remind them of this purpose so that it might ground them in the coming weeks, helping them to get through with that rootedness and with that call so central. God, I thank you for being with us through it all, through ups and downs and the in-betweens. And God, I ask that you just continue to bless all of these people, giving them those moments of pause they might need and those moments of clarity of purpose to get them through this session. Thank you for bringing them here and for their service to us all. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll. All those present, please vote aye. The clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Madam President. Senate Journal for Thursday, February 24th, 2022.
The senator from Northern Chesapeake, Senator Spruill, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 4.
Ayes 35, noes 4. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the House of Delegates. Chair calls on the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that we waive the reading of the communications from the House of Delegates.
The question is, shall the reading of the communication be waived? Those in favor of waiving the reading of the communication from the House of Delegates will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 3, Rule 36, 1.
Ayes 35, noes 3, Rule 36, 1. The reading of the communication is waived. The clerk will now report any communication from the governor.
We do not have any, Madam President.
Now comes the time in the morning hour when we will hear about our distinguished visitors in the Senate gallery. What will happen is we will hear about you when your name is called. Please rise, and we will recognize you, and we will hold our applause until after we are finished. And so with that, I do call on Senator Donovan, the gentlelady from Enrico.
Good morning, Madam President. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Good morning. The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I want, on behalf of the body, to thank Reverend Kayla Parker, who gave our invocation this morning, beautifully centering us as we look at what we have to do before we get to go home for a little bit. And she's with the Unitarian Universalist Community Church in Glen Allen, and I love their byline, using love, wonder, and connection, we transform ourselves and our world. So I hope you will give the warm welcome of the Senate this morning to Reverend Kayla Parker.
Reverend Parker, please stand. Again, we thank you for coming, and we thank you for being here with us and observing your Senate, and we thank you for what you certainly do in the community to help us make a better Commonwealth. And senators, let us give her the warm welcome of her Senate. Chair recognizes the gentlelady from Chesterfield, the senior senator, Senator Hashmi.
Good morning, Madam President.
Good morning.
I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Joining us in the gallery today are special folks who work with GenCare Senior Medical Center. And this particular medical center has been part of the landscape in the city of Richmond and the Tidewater region now for over a decade. And GenCare has 4 senior-friendly and senior-focused centers in underserved Richmond neighborhoods. And their doctors are able to deliver services, detect and manage high-risk diseases, and also reduce hospital stays for our patients. GenCare has helped to administer over 5,000 COVID vaccinations to senior residents throughout Richmond alone, and it's become an essential partner in local efforts to protect our most vulnerable citizens from the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Joining us, Madam President, are Josh Hughes, Turin Squires, Dr. Shruti Sambarmurthy, Tristan James, and Dr. Lisa Price-Stevens. And Madam President, I ask that we give the warm welcome of the Senate.
Good morning again to you all, and thank you for what you do, and especially for senior population. I know all of us must pass that way, and so we thank you for being there already. And senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes the junior senator from Richmond City, Senator Morrissey.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of this body, joining us in the gallery today is a very impressive young lady, Emma Hairston, and she is with her mother, Christian Jones Hairston. Let me tell you a little bit about Emma. She's a 7th grade honor roll student at the Virginia Virtual Academy. Although she's only 12 years old, consider the following accomplishments. She has established herself in dancing, singing in the theater. She has performed in multiple productions with local theater groups, and she's currently auditioning and practicing or rehearsing for her role in Aristocrats Jr. at the Lee Playhouse in Fort Lee. She's an avid track runner, very accomplished there, and said that one day she wants to be an Olympic runner. If that wasn't enough, she also has aspirations of attending law school and someday being a judge. So, Madam President, with all of that said, I'd ask that the Senate give a warm welcome to Emma Hairston and her mother, who is joining us today, Christian Hairston.
Oh, no, stand up again. Well, young lady, we heard so much of your accomplishments that you got your accolades before we even had time to truly recognize you. I can't imagine how you sleep. Thank you for being an overcomer. Thank you for understanding that your future belongs to you. And the future belongs to those who get there first. And you're certainly there already. Keep striving. Keep thriving. Senators, let us give her the warm welcome of her Senate. Chair calls upon Senator Norman, the gentleman from James City County. You had it. All right. Chair moves on to the junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Kiggins.
Madam President, I rise just for an announcement.
Senator has the floor.
I just would like the journal to reflect that my seatmate is away today on the personal pressing business of welcoming a new family member to his family, so he will not be with us.
It will be so noted. Is there any other business to come for the morning hour? Hearing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
The Senate calendar for Friday, February 25th, 2022. Unfinished business House. House Bill 979. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
The chair calls on the senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate insist on this amendments and request a committee of conference.
The question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and respectfully request a committee of conference on House Bill 979? All those in favor of the motion will please record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate will insist.
House Bill 1304. The House has rejected the Senate amendments.
Madam Chair, Boysko.
For what purpose does the senator from northwestern Fairfax County rise?
Madam Chair, can that bill go by for the day, please?
House Bill 1304?
Yes, ma'am.
Without objection, House Bill 1304, page 1, goes by for the day.
On House Bill 166, the House has acceded to a request for committee of conference. And the conferee is on the part of the Senate, as named by the Chair of Finance and Appropriations, Senator Howe, or Senators Howe, Barker, and Norman. On House Bill 936, the House has acceded to a request of the Senate for a committee of conference. Conferees on the part of the Senate is named by the Chair of Finance and Appropriations, Senator Howell, or Senators Ruff, Lucas, and Deeds. Uncontested calendar, House bills on third reading.
Chair calls on the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that all House bills on third reading on the uncontested calendar, pages 3 through 7, that's House Bill 165 through 1225, be advanced to their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, and any senator desiring to remove a bill from the block, please do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
There are 13 bills. The question is, shall House bills on the uncontested calendar, third reading, pages 3 through 7, House Bill 65 through 1225, be placed upon their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator may remove a block desiring to do so and will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will now read the number of the bills.
House Bill 65, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 120, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 184, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 189, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 323, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 439, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 463, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 562, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 850, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 895, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 1112, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 1224, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with amendments.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee amendments.
Question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 1225, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
The chair again recognizes the gentleman from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee amendments.
No, sir, it's in a block.
Oh.
But your number was here. So was it it might have been a mistake.
What motion are we looking for? Oh, y'all called me. Okay.
The question is, shall the House bills pass and
Madam
block?
President, Cosgrove.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Chesapeake, Senator Cosgrove.
Thank you, Madam President. Can House Bill 65 come out of the block and go by for the day, please?
Without objection, House Bill 65 on page 3 is out of the block and by for the day. The question is, shall the House bills pass and block? That is, all bills except for House Bill 65 on page 3. All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
Regular calendar House bills on third reading. House Bill 28, Maury River extends portion previously designated as Scenic River by an additional 23.2 miles. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Chair calls on Senator Peterson, the gentleman from Fairfax City.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass and speak to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this bill is I believe, identical to a bill that was brought by the gentleman from Bath earlier this year. It simply expands the Scenic River designation for the Maury River, which, by the way, I found out, fun fact, was named after Maury Povich. So yeah, we're going to stick with that one. So I simply move the bill pass and thank the body.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 3.
Ayes 36, noes 3. The bill passes.
House Bill 516, Flood Resiliency and Protection, implements RECOM from First Virginia Coastal Resilience Master Plan.
Chair calls on...
Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator Peterson, the gentleman from Fairfax City.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass. Speak to the motion.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. This is one of multiple coastal resiliency bills that we've had. I believe this is similar to one, if not, I believe, identical to one that was passed by Senator Lewis earlier this session, and simply just expands protections and authorities that we have regarding coastal flooding, coastal resiliency, and move the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 27, noes 12.
Ayes 27, noes 12. The bill passes.
House Bill 771, Chesapeake Bay Preservation Area Information, local government in Tidewater, Virginia, shall publish on website. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator Peterson, the gentleman from Fairfax City.
Thank you, Madam President. I did get elevated a couple years ago, but yes, move that the bill pass. Speak to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this bill is exactly what Madam Clerk described, which is simply requiring localities in Tidewater, Virginia to take the Chesapeake Bay regs and put them on their website so they can be more easily accessible for our residents and businesses. I move the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0, Rule 36-1.
Ayes 38, no 0, Rule 36-1. The bill passes.
House Bill 902, Augusta County, removal of county courthouse authorized by electorate. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with a substitute.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Alexandria, Senator Eben.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be adopted? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute is adopted. Senator Eben.
Thank you, Madam President. HB 902 is identical to Senator from Augusta.
For what purpose does the senator rise?
To move the bill pass and speak to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. HB 902 is identical to the senator from Augusta's SB 283, dealing with the removal of the county courthouse in Augusta County and allowing the electorate to hold a referendum on the courthouse removal in 2022, despite the 10-year waiting period. It passed the Senate 39-1, and I again renew my motion that this House version pass as well.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 1.
Ayes 38, noes 1. The bill passes.
House Bill 1223, Shenandoah River, Scenic River Designation. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Chair recognizes Senator Peterson, the gentleman from Fairfax City.
Thank you, Madam President. Move the bill pass. Speak to the motion.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, Shenandoah, besides being one of the more mellifluous words in the English language, is also one of the more beautiful rivers in North America. And this bill would allow it to be further designated as a scenic river, and it's been cleverly set on the calendar on a day when Suderline is not here. So perhaps we can get a unanimous vote. I move the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk. We'll close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 3.
Ayes 35, noes 3. The bill passes.
House Bill 1261, State Environmental Boards, appointment of members to various boards.
Madam President.
Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with a substitute.
The Senate will come to order.
Madam President, I rise for a motion. And speaking to that.
The senator from Accomack. Senator Lewis.
Rise for a motion, Madam President, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, we have determined that there are some technical issues with House Bill 1261, and I've spoken to the patron, and he's aware of them as well. We had hoped to be able to correct that with a floor amendment, but I think it's a little too complicated for that. So what I'd like to do, Madam Chair, is move that we refer or re-refer House Bill 1261 to the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
The question is, shall the senator from Alexandria... Okay.
I was just
the gentleman from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thanks. Speak to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. I just ask everyone to support this motion. I think we want to work with the patron and just take it back in the loving arms of the committee, and we'll get it in the right place. Thank you.
Madam President.
Oh, dear. Who is next? Senator from King George, Senator Stewart.
Would the gentleman from Accomack yield for a quick question?
Senator Lewis, will you yield?
Yes, I yield.
Senator Stewart.
Madam President, I would just inquire as to whether or not the patron is aware and supports this.
Oh, yes.
Senator Lewis.
Madam Chair, I believe I spoke to that in my motion. He's fully aware of it, agrees there's a problem, and wants to fix it. So,
I thank the gentleman.
The question is, shall House Bill 1261 be recommitted to the Committee on Agriculture? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. House Bill 1261 is recommitted to the Committee on Agriculture.
Madam President, Senator from Alexandria.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben.
I apologize, but I would request that the vote by which we agreed to the uncontested block be reconsidered so that a bill could be removed so a member can abstain.
The question is, shall all the bills that passed in the block be reconsidered? Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Madam President?
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The bills in the block are reconsidered. Senator Eben, the gentleman from Alexandria.
I would request, Madam President, that on page 6, HB 895 be removed from the block so it can be voted on separately.
Without objection. The question is, shall the bills remaining in the block pass? And as a reminder, the bills that will pass, consider for passage, all bills except House Bill 895 on page 6 and House Bill 65 on page 3. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
House Bill 895.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Alexandria, Senator Eben.
I move, Madam President, that HB 895 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
HB 895 is identical to SB 370 that was patroned by the senator from Loudoun. It has to do with risk-limiting audits in the conduct of elections and election results, requires local electoral boards and general registers to perform certain risk-limiting audits defined in the bill under the supervision of the Department of Election and in accordance with the procedures prescribed by the State Board of Elections. And I would renew my motion that the bill pass.
Chair recognizes the gentlelady, the junior senator from Chesterfield, Senator Chase.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to speak against the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to inform the body that there's a very big difference between a risk-limiting audit and a full forensic audit. Risk-limiting audits, just to give you an example, in Amelia County, which is one of the counties I represent, when a risk-limiting audit was done, 1 vote out of 13,000 votes were selected for an audit. Madam President, I would argue that, and my constituents would argue, that's not a very thorough audit if we're going to talk about doing election audits. So I will not be supporting this bill because I think we should be doing instead full forensic audits, which actually give a better account of whether our elections are correct. Thank you.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, no 0. Rule 36-2.
Ayes 37, no 0. Rule 36-2. The bill passes.
On page 9, uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that all House bills on second reading on the uncontested and regular calendar, pages 9 through 33, that's House Bill 84 through 1339, that the rules be suspended and the second constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with.
There are 78 bills in this section. The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 9 through 33, House bills 84 through 1339, be dispensed with? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Chair calls again on the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I now move that those bills go by for the day.
The question is, shall the House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars now on their third reading go by for the day? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day. Chair recognizes again the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I would inquire from the clerk, does that complete the calendar for today? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the senator from Enrico, Senator Donovan.
Madam President, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President and members of the body. I wish to speak to you today about the structure that's around my desk. I have been very thoughtful and collaborative in moving forward and deciding how we proceed. And now with only 2 weeks left, I really think I need to share several things with you and speak my mind. The first week we were here together, I shared with the body through Madam Clerk the data that shows that devices like these do not help mitigate the risk of COVID and that they may indeed increase risk of COVID. There is no emergency order in place. I believe that I am the best capable to discern my risk and mitigation of that risk. And, you know, I have autonomy in my office at Pocahontas to determine my policies and procedures. And with respect to majorities, I will say I've been duly elected to this body. And I really would like to understand what authority is in place that determines I would have this device around my desk that may actually increase my risk of transmission. We have our own observational study I'll share with you. The House has not, at least 50% of the House, has worn no masks. There are no dividers. Their percent positivity is identical to ours. We know that this has interfered with our ability to perform and interact here. I will point out, we as a body chose to be in person throughout the COVID crises. I'll mention without dividers, but throughout that time because we understood the value of the interpersonal connection and collaboration that is necessary to perform our duties well for our constituents. And nobody can see, we can't see each other, it's very hard to interact. It's just one thing after another that raises the question, why are these here? I've sought a solution by going individually to whoever might have the authority to make this decision, but I really think I have the authority. And Madam President, with respect to the workload that we have with everybody here, I would like this box removed from my desk by Monday. I can remove it myself, and I will do that if there's not the manpower to do that. But I think that is the right thing to do, and I would like to proceed without this around my box, or this box around my desk for the last 2 weeks of session. Thank you, Madam President.
The chair recognizes the senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to just take this moment to thank Madam Clerk and her staff for everything that they have done for the comfort, care, safety, and convenience of every member of this body and our staff. And while we may not all agree on the steps that have been taken, I hope we can agree that Madam Clerk and her staff bend over backwards, often with very little public thank you or appreciation from members of this body and our staffs. And the past 2 years have been extraordinarily difficult on them. As things have changed rapidly, they tried to make decisions to keep us safe with very little information and guidance coming out of Washington 2 years ago, with information coming out of Richmond changing rapidly. And I'm personally grateful. So whatever happens with these cages, I want Madam Clerk and her staff to know that this senator at a minimum, and hopefully all 40 of us, are very grateful for everything she does for us, our staffs, and our pages.
The chair recognizes the senior senator from Chesapeake, Senator Cosgrove.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, last night was a musically epic night in the state's capital here in Richmond. There was a battle, a ferocious battle held at Penny Lane, second floor, Thursday nights, between the gentleman from Fairfax City and myself. And while the gentleman from Fairfax City was in a country mode last night, I was more in a rock and roll mode last night. The Osmonds knows Ozzy Osbourne. Come on. But, Madam President, we had a great time last night. We had so much fun. And that's what's been missing up here for a couple of years. There was no politics involved. It was just a whole bunch of people, shoulder to shoulder, singing and having a really good time. But there is one thing that's indisputable, and that there can only be one winner. And I can tell you with certainty who that winner was. That winner was shimmering Sharon Peterson. Not only is she beautiful inside and outside, she has a beautiful singing voice. And as her husband, the gentleman from Fairfax City, described her, she is the Korean Stevie Nicks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have some more fun. Let's do more of this, because we all had a smoking good time last night. Thank you.
The chair recognizes Senator Peterson, the gentleman from Fairfax City.
Well, Roz, on a sort of semi-point of personal privilege, semi-announcement.
The senator has the floor.
First of all, thank you to my colleague, and anything speech that mentions my wife and using the word smoking at the same time, I'm more than happy to accept that. That was a wonderful time last night, and Senator Cosgrove, thank you. To hear you sing Ozzy Osbourne was really cool, and it was great to have so many of us together. It is important for us to be together as friends, as colleagues. And that's going to segue me a little bit into my announcement, which is Wednesday will be our annual basketball game. I know we've had folks out there, and just check. I'm going to see whether or not we have the gym Tuesday night for a night before practice. We may not need it. We may, like I said, meet for a drink instead. But please get your checks to me. $250 each. If not, I will send around a collections team, which will include Kathy Nielsen. You do not want to deal with her. But the bottom line is I'm looking forward to this. I will say that we've had a late star appear on our team. And in the courts of Williamsburg, he's simply known as the Truth. Triple M, Money Mason is going to be there. So please get your checks to me. Bring your checkbook, or I think we've sent around an online link, but please get those payments in by Monday, Tuesday, and let Kathy know. And we will be there Wednesday night. Thank you very much.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I just want to congratulate our Johnny Cash wannabe and Ozzy Osbourne wannabe. I told a lot of people to go because you might be hearing another Sinatra and another Paul McCartney. So I was kind of surprised to hear that two other guys showed up. But anyways, I want to congratulate him. I couldn't agree more with Senator Cosgrove. We need to have a better time. Thank you.
Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Hearing none, the clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
Monday, February 28th, the Committee on the Judiciary will meet at 8 a.m., Senate Room A, Pocahontas. The Committee on Local Government will meet at 9 a.m., Senate Room 3, Capitol. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11 a.m., Senate Room 1 in the Capitol. The Republican Caucus will meet at 11:15 a.m., Senate Room 2 in the Capitol. Weather report for the weekend. Friday, travel today may be affected by areas of fog and drizzle. Sunday, light rain possible in southern Virginia in the morning, temperatures in the low 30s with highs mid-50s. And we have, in the event that we have a conference committee on the budget, conferees on the part of the Senate is named by the Chair of Finance and Appropriations, Senator Howell, or Senators Howell, Barker, Hanger, Locke, Lucas, Newman, Norman, and Saslaw. Have a great weekend.
Chair now calls on the gentlelady from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon on Monday.
The question is, shall the Senate adjourn until 12 o'clock noon on Monday? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The Senate stands adjourned until 12 o'clock noon Monday.